Hello, hello. I'm Asher Ninja, and this is time for a new campaign. So, what we are doing, we're going to do Astragoth's Iron Hand. I've been tossing up between Zartan, Dazhoth, this guy, and Astragoth, and I've finally decided on Astragoth. So he's a semi-paralysed sorcerer who's made himself a nice little chair, because as he gets older he turns more and more into stone. The more he uses Hashut's magic. Astragoth, he starts off with a few goblin units, a couple of orc units, which are pretty crap. Starts off with the bull centaur renders, who kind of rip things to pieces really well. And so they have a good amount of resistance and stuff. And they're quite fast, so very cool. We've got a couple of units of blunderbusses, which are pretty good. They've got a fairly low range, but they've got a good missile strength, and they absolutely rip things to pieces when stuff gets close. And some great weapon dwarf warriors as well. I don't really like the great weapon ones as much. I prefer the ones with shields, just because mostly in armies like this one, I'm mostly using them for blocking units, so that my blunderbusses can get around and wreck shit. As faction effects go, you've got more influence from conclaves, which becomes a bit more apparent as we play. Research rate plus 10%, control plus 2 all provinces. Lord effects for Astragoth himself. He's got mechanical overdrive, so as he kills stuff, he gets better and stronger. He's got extra 5% replenishment rate, and he has 15% ward save for the bull centaur renders, so they get tougher. Campaign setting wise, I'm not going to go with Ultimate Crisis, but I'm going to leave all this other stuff as I always do under Legendary Very Hard. I don't know which. I'm considering pulling out a couple of these, because things like, I don't think Black Pyramid will affect me, so I might take that one out. I kind of want to leave these two, because I think they're the most likely to actually have an interesting effect when it comes to Astragoth. Vermintide, I think I'll leave as well, because that one could be around. Same with Vampiric. Let's get rid of the Wild Hunt as well. So I'll leave these four in. Hopefully we'll get one of those two, though, because they'd be the most interesting to actually have in the campaign. Other times I've gotten like a Black Pyramid for most of mine, and it has no effect whatsoever. But anyway, I'll leave the turn timer range as it normally is, so I'll just leave all of that, I think. And let's start. This is on Immortal Empires, of course. I don't really rate the Chaos Thingy, Empire Chaos Wastes campaign. Haven't actually played it for the Chaos Dwarves yet, but in general, I think it's a pretty shitty campaign that they've come up with, so I'm not that interested in doing it in this particular case. So we'll just stick with doing it this way. Astragoth, that's what I keep saying, right? Astragoth? I don't know if I'm actually saying the right things or not. But I haven't had that long with the DLC, so we are still, I am still exploring the best ways to do things. That's just how it is. So we start here. Astragoth Iron Hand, a couple of blunderbusses, some renders, that sort of stuff. Astragoth himself. We start with Zorak, Bull Centaur, as your hero. In this case, I've got Stubborn. That's actually pretty freaking good. Yeah, I'll take that. Helps him stay alive even longer, and he'll be hard to assassinate as well. So that's good. Good. Bull renders are essentially just melee guys. So they've got the usual melee line. Here, their actual specific line for them is, Murderous Charge, so even more power for that. Trusted agent, so that's some agent action stuff, but we're probably not going to go into that line until the very end of him. Same there again, effective agent. Stalwart defender, that's always a good thing, so more melee defense. Temple guard, so that gives him the guardian ability, and I tend to keep him fairly close to lords, get them both fighting in the same area, and these are just mostly power-ups as well for him, getting frenzy, that sort of stuff. Make him terror causing, bit more ward save, bit more healing, bit of spell resistance, bit more missile resistance. So basically just turn him into a bit more of a beast along the way. And you've got, your heroic killing blow, foe seeker, the usual things you find in most of these, armor, charging, that sort of stuff. Most going to focus on his first points in things like hard to hit, wound maker, probably get guardian when he hits level 8, that kind of stuff. Astragoth has quite a wide range of stuff. He's got a fairly standard blue line. The only upkeep reduction is in very much unbridled cruelty, so probably won't go that far through the line, because most of it's things like recruitment cost, extra income from that, ambush defense and that sort of stuff. And he's got too many good things in his lists to really concentrate that much on blue line. Mostly from the blue line, we want to go with logistician for the replenishment rate, and maybe some points in tyrants for the extra labourers we can get. Well, they say labourers, I say slaves. You're not supposed to say slaves, but I say slaves anyway, because that's the Chaos Dwarf way. This red line is the usual series of buffs for the various things. As you can see with this latest patch, it actually tells you what. Now, very specifically, what will get buffed, which is a much better way of looking at it, I think. So I think they've done pretty well with this little quality of life thing. What's this yellow line, I think it is, pretty short, just a couple of things, hard to hit, Blade Master, just the important things, speed, all that sort of stuff. So all the things you really want to boost, especially speed. He actually is quite fast because of his walking frame. He has the Hashut magic, so with things like killing fire and stuff like that. So does extra damage and things like these things. Kindle Flame, bit of Cloak, Ash Storm. Haven't got to use Ash Storm myself though, but it looks like it could be interesting. Flaming Sword of Ruin. That's kind of a combination of fire and that. So Hellhammer, which again haven't got to use, should be interesting though. Firestorm, that sort of stuff. So it's kind of a combination of fire and Hashut. Then there's his unique line for Basalt Body. Yep. Diplomatic relations with Chaos, Demons of Chaos, Chaos Dwarves, blah, blah, blah. This one looks pretty good. Upkeep minus 20% for Bull Centaur render units, and makes them more powerful as well. So lots of renders in his army. Burning Wrath, it's actually not a bad spell, Burning Wrath. So I like that. That'll just give him some extra uses of it. Hero capacity is always useful, and Dark Sacrifice. So that's just essentially lowering magic cost -9 for Hellhammer, upgraded -6 for Hellhammer otherwise. So what is it normally? Doesn't actually say that, and it's hard to find out with the way some of this works sometimes. It likes to disappear before you can do it. And these are just the usual resistances and extra leadership and that sort of stuff. So nothing too exciting. You can get a couple of pretty cool items though. Hammer of Hashut and his Stone Mantle. Slows him down but makes him tougher. So, which isn't a bad thing. I like because once he's slowing down, that means he's already in combat, so he's already wrecking stuff. So good. That's him on his little Zimmer frame, getting around like an old man. Let's get our render into the army. You don't want him just wandering around the place. In the army. Building wise, let's see. So we start off with the giant conveyor. It seems to be a thing for most of the Chaos Dwarf capitals, each of the different ones. You start with this thing. in the actual the other campaign, can't remember, there's actually a thing behind all this to make it bigger and get the bear's blood or some bullshit like that. But I don't really care. You get lots of raw materials from it though. That's basically the main thing. The main reason you want it upgraded. You get more raw materials and you get your armaments. So, you know, raw materials, you need that for doing things like upgrading your capitals. Because you don't actually need a population, you just need your raw materials to do it. Armaments, you need that for certain buildings like these ones, so when you're upgrading these ones, or if you're building your ironworks and that sort of stuff, so that you can get your cool looking, fucking crazy ass stuff. You need your armaments for that, and your Kadais as well. And to get all of this working, you've got a certain amount of workload, you've got a certain amount of labour, and of course your slaves, they die when you're doing stuff. So that changes all your various outputs. You got buildings that'll, you know, turn raw materials into armaments and all that sort of stuff as well. So it's all sort of complicated, well, not really complicated, but a little complicated. You have unit caps as well with Chaos Dwarves, so again, another reason why you want lots of armaments. You can increase your unit caps for your Infernal Guard, for your Chaos Dwarves, for your War Machines, for your Renders, for your Monsters, all of the things. So, and that gives you it's a pretty nice display of them. As you go up as well in levels, you get various things you can give them. So when you've got a certain amount of unit caps of them, then you go into your manufactory. So you don't just get these, you unlock the ability to have them, and they then have an upkeep in your manufactory to actually keep going with the amount of armaments you have. So there's a lot of economy stuff going on in the background with Chaos Dwarves. So there's a lot more you have to pay attention to than normal. There is also your military convoys. They're basically little convoys that go out to places and exchange things like, say, armaments for raw materials or money for slaves, that kind of stuff. And on top of this, you also have the Tower of Tsar. So as you get more concave influence, it's concave. It's nice concave you've got there going, and you sit around in your little parabola. No, it's conclave influence, so you get that and you get little seats and that sort of stuff. Again, as the campaign goes on, that will become apparent. Then, of course, we've got technology. Now, normally we've got one technology tree. Instead, we have three. Three technology trees to run through. And again, you need resources for certain bits of it. Some of them, like, just seems a bit weird that you need resources for. But they've got things like labour quotas. And some of it's good, some of it's like, what the fuck? So, it shouldn't really be behind paywalls and stuff. So, yes, it's interesting to say the least. It's a bit all over the place. And I don't know if that noise made it into the video, but that was my speaker turning off by itself. I've got to remember to turn that off before I start making videos. Good stuff. Yeah, so there's a few good ones in the middle here, but again, you got to make your way to them. And you need various things to get there. And it's like, that is like one of the shittiest technologies. But to get to Ceaseless March, you need it. Smog Shroud, you need it. It's like, well, but I don't want that technology. So you kind of end up, yeah. So it's a bit weird. You can do things like buff your orc units and stuff if you want to in here. But to start with technology, I'm going to do Call to War because I want to get to hollow rounds for my blunderbusses. Because improved blunderbusses, they're already good, make them gooder. And melee defense for all your infantry units is not a bad thing as well. So start with that. And we kind of do some of the base level stuff. Well, I kind of do some of the base level stuff for a few different of the units. Here, I'm actually going to get myself a Great Taurus before I destroy that building. And I'm going to destroy that building for very good reasons. and I will explain soon. But first, let's do a battle, because that's what we're here for, fighting stuff. Not going to auto-resolve, we want to do this with as fewer casualties as possible. So we're just going to accept that we've got to fight it. And we want to bring out them to annihilate. That should be fun. I think there's some Black Orcs in this army. There certainly is, and that's alright. Because Black Orcs will get shot to pieces. Just like everything else. Loading slowly. So he's actually a pretty good, like I found with, I've been looking into all three of the Chaos Dwarf characters. While one of them is just a straight up melee character, the other two are still quite good in melee. They've still got high armor, still got high melee defense, still an okay attack, even though they're also casters. So they are fairly good at their jack of all trades abilities. Fairly good. So I'm going to put all my slave units over here. Get my Chaos Dwarfs. These are great weapon ones. I don't like the great weapons as much as I like the shielders, but it's alright. We can go to the front with him. I'm going to keep them there. We're going to put our Bull Tauruses over there. Yep, that sounds good. I might move these guys up a little actually. Hit the right key on my keyboard and it'll actually work. Or it won't. Whatever. Oh, that's how it works. That and you work. No. Of course, I am hitting the wrong key. There we go. All worked out. I know what I'm doing. Professional. Ah, over there. Alright, so that's our deployment. Now, they're not going to come at us, of course, because we are more powerful than them. Just means all we need to do is be a bit destructive with our spells. So we're going to use this one, Burning Wrath. It's one of the new Hashut spells. It does a decent amount of damage. It's got a few little things on it, so it spawns like a little vortex after it hits. Does most of its damage in the on its initial landing though. So incoming. The little meteor lands right on an orc there. I only killed one, but did some damage. Yeah, only did like 248 damage. One kill. Might have to move him just a little bit further forward. So will. So this one should, well, might bring them to us. Only one kill again, but yep, they're on their way. That's what we wanted. Very defensive army, the Chaos Dwarves. So we just want to hold back and get blasting. Just want to do some blasting. Now bull render up a little. That's what I want. I don't want the Black Orcs to really go into our fodder. Alright, let's get the bull renders moving. There we are. That's the stuff. So we actually are going to... bull renders should be able to destroy them pretty effectively. Let's get you guys just get blasting at those Black Orcs for me, please. You go and hit him. They'll be running quite soon. As you can see, our firing really does us just chunks down there, Black Orcs. There. Let's get him to drop a bit of that. Alright, bull renders. Now we need you to take out the shooting troops. That's good. How's he doing against the boss? He's actually not doing that great there. So, the hell just happened? It's not anywhere near the escape key. Right, so we're going to pull him out of that fight there. He's taking a bit too much damage. Change their target to him. And just watch how quickly they chunk him down. Even though he's got a shield. Look at that. Just destroys him. Alright, you get into them now. Into there. That is how we do that. Now, he took a bit more damage than I was hoping, but... Ooh, they might be hitting my renders a bit there. So let's turn that off. Stop shooting! Oh, I didn't mean to hit him in battle there. Oh, that's fine. Point is, we destroyed them. Destroyed them good. Lots of slaughtering. We didn't actually lose anyone, but our render did take too much damage. But yes, I think that was a good demonstration of why these blunderbusses are just so insane. They're so good. I like them. So basically target their main units with them and get blasting. Good armor piercing, good fire rate, good explosive damage. Just destroys. Though I want to get some artillery. Because artillery good. Yeah, so I didn't get as many labour as I should have. I don't think. So we'll take some more slaves there. So that's good. Yeah, we've got some more conclave influence. Fucking concave. Stop saying concave. Jeez. I will actually... So when it comes to buildings, I'm going to start building this one here. While I already am at cap for blunderbusses, I can do with another Chaos Dwarf Warrior, which we can recruit here. The main reason I want this building is so that I can get myself a Castellan. Get myself another hero, basically. So another hero is always good. So let's hit the Great Skull Lakes and occupy that. Where I will show that on top of all of the other things with Chaos Dwarves that have multiple things, you've got multiple choices for all of your buildings as well, all of your settlements. So you've got a basic settlement, and you've got factories. Then in your main settlements, you can either build a tower, a settlement, or a factory as well. So many different options throughout the game to make your campaign better, or more complicated, or worse. You know, all of the things are possible. Alright, we're going to find a slightly raised up area for our blunderbusses again. Start deployment. So, slightly raised area for them. I'm gonna angle them a little bit that direction. Put the goblins next to them. Again, with the orcs there ready to back up the gobbos. And since they don't need backup, our Chaos Dwarf Warriors go there. These two fellas up the front again. He shouldn't get chunked down by anything this time, at least. Let's go. So another battle straight up. Straight up. And they're going to... it looks like they're just trying to gather somewhere. Where are they going? Yeah, they're putting themselves into a defensive position there. So we hit these guys. They're just like some orc boys, I'm pretty sure. But that's their like leader for their settlement. Looks like they're going to make me fire off 3 shots this time. Oh no, that started moving, but that's alright. Good. 16 kills for him. Renders, you guys get moving. We're going to get them to go into the Goblin Archers. So Goblin Archers are surprisingly, as I found out while I've been testing things, one of the main issues that you can have when you are facing orcs and goblins. Generally, I actually wouldn't have thought so, because Goblin Archers are normally just, you know, garbage. But if you just leave them for too long, they will do a bit of damage. So what we want to do is get them chunked down. So in the least, this means they're now going to be delayed. And so we want our renders, who are nicely occupying a couple of other units as well. Alright, that's good. So he's going to, they'll come into a rear charge over here. They'll get absolutely destroyed by them. Look at that. Fucking lovely. Let's hold them off. They're going to pull into there. He's going to start hacking up those goblin archers. Looks like he's sort of considering coming towards Astragoth. I'm trying to keep my basically my melee out of the way here as well. Alright, they've broken that unit. That's good. That unit's broken. We'll bring Astragoth. He can come back this way. Do a bit of damage there. Renders will help here. Oh, he's taking a fair bit of damage again. Might have to pull him out. Yeah, they're just sort of tearing apart them. We'll pull him out. They've broken the archers again. So let's get the renders out of there. Just try and make them all come towards our guns. They're nicely broken. Ooh, don't get too much in front there. Still haven't lost any renders, that's good. Goblins are just chasing them about the place. They're really not going to get anywhere. Alright, let's pull the renders back this way now. They've broken those archers again. See if we can get them out of here. Bring it all forward to face the guns. We might lose one at this rate, that's right. The idea is we just bring all of that around to in front of the guns. Because that'll just chunk them to pieces. Come on. Keep firing, assholes. Oh, look at it. Oh, yeah. Lovely. Just absolute slaughter. Just love it as they come there. The blunderbusses just fucking open up. Ah, love it. Again, most of the damage is just taken up by our Lord and Hero. Probably a bit more damage than I would have liked on them. That's alright. It's all good. It's all good. 160, 137, 110. 85 for Astragoth. He fucking wrecks stuff. We lost one. I think that was just one of our Chaos Dwarf warriors as well. That's good. The Orc boys managed to take down a dwarf to all of their deaths. And yeah, the Gobbo is just completely ineffective. Trickster's Shard, eh? Yeah. I actually think that's a pretty trash item. But anyway, it's all good. I'm actually going to get these as an outpost at the moment. So that's cool. Trickster's shard for him.
Astragoth,
We will also build. So I'm going to chuck in one of these. So this is good for raw materials. Does bring up our workload a fair bit though. So workload plus 300, but plus 200 raw materials. So that'll be 300. But we need raw materials for building up our high-powered drill, which will bring in more raw materials, and for our actual main cities, which we also want to build up so that we can get some of the cool things. Now that we are at the Great Skull Lakes, let's set up what we're going to recruit. We're going to recruit ourselves Chaos Dwarf Warriors. And I'm just short of being able to get the Great Taurus as well. So what we'll actually do is we'll get the Great Taurus and not the Warriors. Because I'll still be able to recruit Warriors here. But I intend on getting rid of this. So, Great Taurus. They're not super great, which seems like a weird thing to say, but better than some gobos. Points to spend, Route Marcher and Logistician for you for extra casualty replenishment rate. You get Survivalist, because that's all we can actually really give him. That's not a blue line thing. Blue line's a bit of a waste. They're going to get a decent amount of replenishment there as well, so that's good. We're going to have to try and take out a garrison next turn. So. Which might be difficult with the amount we're going to have. So let's throw a unit of orcs in there as well. Might have to delay attacking that for one turn. That'll be annoying. But anyway, that is actually going to be it for the opening of this campaign. So that's Astragoth. I'm going to do a second episode of him straight up, so we'll get into that next. But I will see you in that episode. Hope you have a good one. I've been Ash Ninja. This has been Astragoth. I'll see you later.